Thank you, Sean. Thank you for everyone at Icon Coaching.
Simon, congratulations, man. You know what that is?
That's winning.
It's winning, baby. I love it when you're winning. That's fantastic.
I got 2 under contract, so that's like 2.8 million in 2 weeks.
You've got to take control of your production to make sure that you're making more money, your bank account balance is rising, that your net worth is increasing, and that's what we want to see happen.
So that they can save the listing.
Which I'm really, really thankful for, Sean. Thank you.
See everyone coming on board. Welcome to Icon Coaching's webinar.
Hello, welcome everybody to the Icon Coaching webinar, gang. We do this twice a week, every Tuesday at 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Pacific, and every Thursday, 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Pacific. Just time block the time. Show up to these webinars, stretch your mind. Once your mind is stretched, it never goes back to its original form. By the way, your business, your production, your bank account balance, and net worth, gang, it's going to grow to the extent that you personally grow. And I want you to really let that sink in. You cannot give to others that you don't possess yourself. So today I'm going to be on purpose. We're going to go fast. We're going to go furious. It's meat per minute right now, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to walk you through how to retain team members today. And this is critically important. You guys, you work so hard to get them in the front door. Then you invest your time, your energy, your resources into training them. And forgive me, here we go. Let me get rid of that. You should be able to see my screen now that says, would I stay on my own team? This is a question I want you to contemplate. And Dave, can you just give me a quick thumbs up that you can see my screen, please? Thank you, Day. All right, good. So I want you to contemplate that question and ask yourself, if you were a team member on your team, whether it's administrative support or in a sales capacity, ask yourself how inspired you would be to be a team member on your own team, and go deeper and say, okay, what specific strategies are motivating me as a team member versus demotivating me? By the way, in going through this to build a model that you personally would like to join, that you see the value, see the benefits in, I think that's the best place to start. So here's my agenda for today. And you guys, I have a great deal of respect for your investment of time. I don't take it lightly. So I've got just really 5 key talking points I'm going to walk through. I'm going to do it rather quickly today. I've got 28 minutes, and I promise you we're going to get through it. So we're going to talk about your foundation. So clarity and certainty, retention is always going to start right there. See, when the people have clarity and action, they know that the actions are going to produce the result that you desire as a team leader, that they desire for their income. That provides certainty. See, in absence of certainty, there's just complexity, and any decision will do in the moment. So next thing I want to talk through is money and opportunity. See, I think the most underutilized tool in a team leader's toolbox is compensation. When we leverage the right compensation models, you guys, everything else becomes easier and few things become unnecessary in the process. I'm going to talk you through an ascension ladder, a growth and career path for the agents who align with you. See, if I join your team and I'm going to get 50% of the gross commission income on every deal that I close from here to eternity, that's not all inspiring. Eventually, my vision for my own career is going to exceed the vision that you've created for me. That is when I become disenchanted. That is when I leave. You understand? So what we've got to have is this ascension ladder, something, a carrot to dangle in front of them, something that they can strive toward that channels their focus, it channels their energy, and increases their income at the same time. I want to talk you through coaching, training, and how to get your agents to engage in this idea of mastery, that it takes 10,000 hours to master anything. And then finally, I'm going to talk you through leverage and support. Now, there's 4 categories of leverage we're going to talk through today: models, systems, technology, and people. So we're going to touch on all 4 categories. And without any further delay, I'm just going to dive in. So I want you to obtain just a crystal clear picture of your value proposition. So there's a couple of things I want you to do. Number 1, I want you to create a 1-page why join, why stay document. Seriously, spell it out for them, because oftentimes as a team leader, we have the curse of knowledge, right? We assume that they understand the value. We assume that they understand the benefits. And until it's described to them like they're in the 7th or 8th grade, guys, then It's quite challenging to say the least. Yet I want you to be crystal clear on your value proposition. Also, what you get here that you can't get anywhere else, what does that look like for you? This gives you a major point of differentiation as a team leader, and it makes the attraction effort so much easier, so much smoother. Transparency around splits, caps, fees, and lead expectations, critically important from a leadership perspective. And then I want you to define that ascension ladder from ISA to agent. And it probably should be ISA to showing partner to agent, agent to senior agent, director of sales to expansion partner. I mean, whatever your ascension ladder might look like, we want to just spell this out for them, show them that the next step is there, that they're preparing for their next opportunity. And as they go through this ascension ladder, as they go through the promotion, well, they're constantly increasing their ability to earn, to increase their net income, their net worth in the process. I want to go a little bit deeper into foundation. So the goal is clarity and certainty. So your job as a leader is to really crystal clear define the roles and the expectations. See, I believe that people are always doing the best that they can in the moment, yet here is this employee or this agent on a team. They think they're doing a great job, and yet here's the team leader. They're so frustrated, they're ready to fire the agent. So clearly defining roles and expectations, very important. Now, there's 6 areas that you must set expectations around when dealing with team members. And that happens on the administrative side of the fence as well as the business development side of the fence. You, as the leader, it's your responsibility to set and manage the appropriate expectations. In fact, I generally say this: anytime there's a rub in a professional environment, the leader gets to take responsibility for that rub. And the reason I say the leader gets to take responsibility is because that leader failed to set and then manage the appropriate expectations. Otherwise, it's black and white, right? There would be no rub. So I want you to own that. Take responsibility for it. And if you want to know the 6 areas that you must set expectations around, I just want you to set up a free coaching call with me. Let's talk it through, okay? As it applies to you and your business strategy, not just some general webinar where I'm going to give you the 6 areas of expectations. You're going to run out the door and you're going to attempt to apply them and you're going to do it wrong, because there are some nuances to this psychologically that make all the difference in the world, okay? So I want you to set up a free coaching call with me. Next, written production standards around appointments, conversions, follow-ups. Guys, critically important to understand their efficiency rating. See, because when you understand where they're strong, you understand where they're weak, this enables you to customize training, coaching, consulting to really equip that agent to increase production. And yet having these standards around the lag measures, again, also very important. Yet I don't want you to hold them accountable to the lag measures. Rather, I encourage you to hold them accountable to the lead measures. We're going to talk about that today. Next is clear accountability metrics. Now, let's talk about accountability for a moment. It's not micromanagement, and it's the leader's job to express, well, what is accountability? Why is it important? And why is it important to an aspect of this team, this accountability? Now, I want to break that word apart. Accountability ends with the word ability, right? So when you hold people to account, you give them the ability to accomplish their goals. Now, to me, accountability, it's a form of love. It's a form of caring. You're a human being. I care about you. I want to see you successful. So I'm going to hold you able to your goals by holding you accountable to your goals. I trust that makes sense. Yet we need clarity around the accountability metrics, okay? Define the minimum standards and the stretch goals. Now, when we're talking minimum standards, I encourage you to tie that to the lead measures, those things that are within control of the agent. See, holding them accountable to the lag measures, for example, number of appointments they set. Here's the challenge with holding them accountable to the number of appointments they set, especially on the ISA side of the fence, is that they're going to set appointments that maybe they shouldn't go on in the first place. I trust this makes sense because they want to be good employees. They want to check the box that they got the number of appointments that you require as a team leader. They're terrified to qualify because they might have to cancel that appointment and they might not meet the minimum standards. So minimum standards should be around the things the agent can control. We'll go deeper into that a little bit later. Again, lead measures versus lag measures, accountability. So I would hold them accountable to the number of live conversations that they're creating on a daily basis. I would additionally go deeper, number of those conversations that exceed 2 minutes in duration. Okay. Where the rubber meets the road is in the conversation. Everything you're doing as a team leader to make the phone ring to be able to attract agents to your team in the first place, that's where the rubber meets the road, is in the actual conversation. So hold them accountable to the things within their control. I view it like this. Imagine you're the pitcher in a baseball or softball game, okay? It's the bottom of the ninth. You're standing up on the mound. Very important pitch. Your team is up by 1 run. The score is 3-2. There's 2 outs. There's 1 runner on first, and the strike count is 3-2. So incredibly important pitch, meaning that if you strike this person out on this next pitch, the game is over. You're the hero. Now, if this person gets a hold of the ball when you throw it and they hit a home run, it's a walk-off home run, meaning that team won the game. You are the loser. So a lot of pressure on you. Just like in real estate sales, every single day, a lot of pressure on you. What do you focus your energy and attention on? Is it where the batter's doing his practice swings? Is it home plate? Is it, your strike box? Do you imagine that? Is it the catcher's mitt? Maybe the umpire? Or is it that person who's edging out behind you, threatening to steal second base? I mean, where do you focus your energy? And here's my input, you guys. Focus on what you can control. Okay. Think about all the things for a moment that you can't control. Think about it. Can you control interest rates, market inventory? Can you control the buyer's credit score, their cash down payment availability? How about the seller's equity position? Can you control any of those things? No. What you can control, 3 things. And here's what I want you to encourage your team members and yourself to focus on. Okay, number 1, you can control what you say. Number 2, you can control how you say it. And believe it or not, you can control how many people you say that to on a consistent basis. See, if you want more appointments, and I know you do, all you need to do is create more conversations. I want to digress. I want to share with you the 15th protocol for a moment. Team leaders, I want you to install this beginning February 1st. So every single month, on the first of the month, you're going to announce the team target. Now, let's just say, for example, and I'm going to use round numbers, I want 10 signed listing contracts, and I'm going to track my metric tracking around signed listings because that is future income that is more guaranteed than, say, signed buyer agency contracts, right? So I'm going to attach to that metric, and I want 10 signed listing contracts by February 28th. Now, here's my input. You're going to get all the team members, yourself included, to adhere and commit to a daily standard around the number of live conversations that we create. And let's just say that we set that minimum standard at 10. Now, they can certainly set more or make more contacts if they want more appointments, obviously. Yet we have a target of 10 signed listing contracts. Every team member is going to engage in 10 live conversations a day, the 1st through the 15th. Then we have this mid-month check-in point. So on the 15th of the month, we're going to look at the results. And provided we're at least 50% of the results, meaning if we have 5 or more signed listing contracts on the 15th of the month, well, that minimum standard of 10 live conversation has proven to be adequate. And we're to maintain that standard through the month of February of 10 live conversations. Now, here's the point. If you get to the 15th of the month and you don't have 5 or more signed listing contracts, if you are less than 50% of the target, 50% of the way through the month, for the results to change, the actions must change. So on the 16th of the month, you engage in a new standard for the 16th through the 28th of the month, where you're going to up the number of conversations that every team member is going to create. And maybe that new number is 12, maybe it's 15, maybe it's 20. Yet the bottom line is, the more often you bring this to your conscious awareness and bring it to the awareness of the team members, the more likely they are to take aggressive and appropriate action and to accomplish the target at the end of the month. Don't be like most team leaders where you get to the end of the month and you say, well, geez, I wanted 10 signed listing contracts and shoot, I only got 3. Well, see, now you can't do a damn thing about it because it's in the past. Guys, when the Apollo blasted off from the surface of the Earth with every intention to land on the lunar surface, the engineers will tell you that that spacecraft was off trajectory 97% of the time. It was only on target 3% of the time. And if it weren't for those minute by minute adjustments, you guys, back and forth, just to keep that trajectory, they'd still be in outer space today, right? So don't be that agent who maybe builds a business plan around January 1st, right? And then it ends up in a drawer and you got this really smart and highly productive drawer. I want you to review your business plan on a weekly basis. Make changes, go through iterations. You find a strategy that's on your business plan is not producing the result or the return on investment that you expect. Well, it's time to cut bait and let's engage in a strategy that actually works, right? Yet when holding people accountable, hold them accountable to the things within their control, okay? Otherwise, you end up with varied results and frustrated people. So I want to talk about money for a moment and opportunity for the agents who choose to align with your vision. So one of the things that is a massive opportunity for agents to earn more money is obviously consistent lead follow-up. I'd encourage you to adopt a 3x3 approach that anytime a new lead comes in, that the agent attempts to reach the prospect 3 times per day for the first 3 days in a row. Chances are they're going to get them on the phone and they're going to convert and or determine this is not a viable prospect. That maybe determine some other course of lead follow-up in the future, right? Yet if they're not successful 3 attempts in the first 3 days, then it's 3 attempts per week for the next 3 weeks in a row. So they just set it up, regimented Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, do that 3 weeks in a row. Now, if you get the person on the phone, you determine that it's a different course of lead follow-up, kick them out of the 3x3 approach and launch a more customized strategy for that particular prospect. Yet if you're still not able to reach them after 3 weeks and 3 days have gone by, then you're going to shift to 3 attempts per month for the next 3 months in a row. And you've got those follow-ups baked into the CRM tool and it shows up on your dashboard on the appropriate day. All you have to do is just complete the tasks in your CRM. Just stay on top of it, you guys. It's really that simple. Next, multiple streams of income. We're going to talk a little bit about this today. How can we add different line extensions to a team member's strategy such that they can make an extra $10, $20, $50,000 a year by being aligned with your team? I also want to talk about predictable income programs that you as a team leader can deploy within your current model that's going to force them to act like owners. And it's also going to eliminate that necessity that, man, I haven't closed a deal in 3 months. I really need this check. And they end up with commission breath. So having a more predictable income program, it eliminates that commission breath in the process. So let's talk about consistent lead flow. This is the top retention lever that you can have as a team leader. I believe that most agents who align with the team believe in their heart of hearts that with more leads, they're going to close more transactions. So if you have a consistent lead flow, in fact, there's one guy I coached down in Phoenix and his recruiting strategy was a lead a day guaranteed. Thank you for that, Jeff, if you happen to be listening. I appreciate that. A lead a day guarantee. That is a great recruiting strategy. That's going to get them on the phone and you do the initial screening interview and make a decision if you want to take them to the comprehensive interview step. Next, obviously, there are ISA supported inbound leads. So if you can help them with conversion, that's going to help them stay. Obviously, Zillow Flex, Realtor.com, Google PPC, Meta Ads, all of those things should be working in concert for you team leaders to generate hundreds of leads every single month. Open house systems with lead routing, critically important. So give them the technology that they need. We're going to get into the tech stack in a moment. Sphere reactivation campaigns. Guys, I want them to experience a 12-2 return for everybody that they know personally. Getting them comfortable bringing their sphere of influence and adding that to your CRM, allowing you to engage with a sphere reactivation campaign on their behalf. This is a great way to retain agents. Let them experience the 12-2 ratio, meaning for every 12 people that they have in their sphere of influence, that core inner circle of people, they'll do 2 deals per year. If they can build that sphere of influence list to 200 people or more, they will close in excess of 30 transactions per year with that 12-2 ratio. When you as a team leader take the 80% off of their plate and you send out the communication campaigns to their sphere of influence on their behalf, you want that 12-2 return. They want that 12-2 return. And because you're sending this out on their behalf, it makes the retention easier. Certainly seller lead programs by providing them with data through, say, LandVoice. I would encourage you to check out landvoice.com/icon. It's a special deal for you guys there. You get all the data, including notice of default, FSBO expired, neighborhood data. They're even coming up with a probate data system for you. Check out landvoice.com/icon. The point here is that agents, they tend to forgive a lot or reduce their stress all on their own when the phone is ringing, right? When leads are consistent, the agents aren't nearly as stressed. Okay, multiple income streams. I want to talk about, obviously buyer and seller commissions. Now, one of the things I would encourage you to do is I would up the amount of compensation that an agent gains from you on self-generated closed deals, meaning this is their core personal sphere of influence. This is a deal that the team leader would have never closed to begin with. So the strategy would be for those deals, I'm going to compensate you, say, on a 60 to you, 40 to the team basis, because it's your lead. You're doing the conversion. I'm spending no marketing dollars. You deserve more. So first year, 60-40 to your favor. Second year, we're going to go to 70-30 to your favor. Third year that you're with me and every year thereafter, you're going to be at 75-25 on your personally generated deals. Make sense? Now on team leads, you're going to be between 40 and 50% to the agent, okay? Obviously, referral fees. Now, I want to talk about buyer agents for a moment. Perhaps you're the team leader who wanted that division so that they could master their craft so much faster by focusing solely on working the buy side of the business. And you, as the lead agent, you're working the listing side of the business. It makes sense to leverage off the buyer side of your business first because it's so much more time consuming. Now, with your buyer agents, should they identify a prospect in the marketplace today, set an appointment for you to go out and take the listing, at a minimum, I would pay them a 25% referral fee just simply for setting up the appointment for you. Now, the reason for that, you say, Sean, that's way too much. Why would I give 25% to an agent who just set a listing appointment for me? Well, here's the point. Because that agent, they could refer it to another agent that's not on your team. And I promise you that agent is willing to pay at least 25%, probably 35% for that lead. Okay. So you at a minimum, you need to match what other agents would do for your agent at a minimum. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Partnering on listings. Why not involve them? You maybe have a buyer agent on the team that you see has potential on the listing side of the fence. Start involving them on the listing side. Maybe give them 5% of the GCI, and they're going to be part and parcel to the whole process, including the contract negotiations, the inspection, the contract close process, and attending the home inspection. But give them a little bit of the commission just so that they could have on-the-job training, okay? By the way, involve them in your investment deals. Let them pony up with some of the cash down payment or closing costs. Let them start playing the game with you. Maybe it's a fix and flip. Maybe it's a buy and hold. Yet by getting them on the investment side with you, the retention strategy becomes a heck of a lot easier. Vendor sponsorship, income sharing. Now, hear me on this. Team leaders like, well, I've got my MSA with my lender. I got my MSA with my title company. Why on earth would I share in that income? Couple of caveats. Okay, number one, the agent on the team must bring you the vendor who's already pre-sold on sponsoring your marketing, okay, in an effort to earn that agent's business. So if the agent brings the vendor to you, what I would encourage you to do is retain 50% of what the vendor gives you for marketing. Allow the agent to retain 50% of what they generated for the team so that they can market themselves. Why not? It's just another way for them to build their business that they can't do on any other teams. What we're doing here is we're focusing on eliminating the barriers to entry and upping the value of becoming a team member with you. Team profit share bonus pools. You guys, I want to get into this deep because team profit share forces team members to act like owners. Now, even though they have no stock, no equity, no ownership in your team, it forces them, though, to act like an owner. Now, I'm going to go ahead and share a different screen. Bear with me 1 second as I pull this up. I want to share with you a compensation model for profit share. Now, I did this most recently a couple of weeks ago on a different webinar. So if you've seen it, here's your opportunity to see it again. And I don't care how many times you've seen it, do you understand it? And have you applied it to your business strategy? Because, guys, this makes all the difference in the world. So what this requires you to do as the team leader is to establish a floor. Now, the floor means this is the amount of income that I am personally satisfied with. And once I've earned that much money, I am happy to share in the profits with the team members who helped make it happen. But I'm not going to share dollar number one until I personally have net 200,000 out of this team. I hope that makes sense. Now, If we net 200 and well, not $199,000 that year, sadly there is no profit share. Okay, so we must exceed 200,000. So I, as a team leader, I'm going to set what percentage of the profit above the pool, the net profit, above the floor, that I'm going to share in the rev share pool back to the agents and the administrative support who help make it happen. So in this example, I've determined I'm willing to share 20% of every net dollar to the team above 200,000. And let's just say that in 2026, I net 500,000. After all expenses, after all commissions paid, net 500,000. I'm going to subtract my floor, which is 200,000. That gives me my base for profit share distribution. Remember, I'm going to share 20% of every net dollar after the floor. So 20% of 300,000, that's $60,000. So now the question becomes, how do I distribute that fairly to the team members? And some of you are still hung up saying, Sean, I'm not going to give my team $60,000. Well, hear me on this. You got the first 200,000. That leaves over 300,000 in net profit. And you're going to get 80% of the money above 200,000. So in essence, you're netting 440,000 and it cost you an extra $60,000 to get there. Yet this is part of the retention strategy. It's well worth it. So it's not only retention, it's also recruiting at the same time, because when they understand that you have a profit share system and you've done this for a year or 2 or 3 in a row, it makes it so much easier to hire the agent because you've got a track record behind you. In fact, you'll hire administrative support far below their going salary rate because they understand the profit share and they're going to make so much more by being with you. So that gives us our base for the 60,000. That's what we're going to share back to the team who helped make it happen. Now, the 60,000, what we're going to do is we're going to take every employee and every agent on the team. So you can see them here. The amount of money I paid 2 employees on a W-2, they're going to receive 1 unit measure for every $1,000 I paid them. In addition to that, for every year that they're with the team, I'm going to give them 5 additional unit measures. This is like their raise. Okay, I hope this makes sense. So this person, this employee number 1, has been with me for 3 years. They earned 50,000 as their salary and bonus. Okay, it's sum total 50,000. So they get 50 unit measures. However, they've been with me for 3 years, so I'm going to give them an additional 15 unit measures. So their unit measure count is 65. Employee number 2, they just joined me this year. They made 32,000. They get 32 unit measures. Agent number 1's been with me for 2 years. And while they provided to the team 82,000 after company dollar, after team splits, what came to the team in gross revenue was 82,000. So I'm going to give agent number 1 unit measure for every 1,000. So that's 82 unit measures. But remember, agent 1 has been with me for 2 years. So I'm going to give them an additional 10 unit measures, 5 unit measures for every year that they're with me. So that's a sum total of 92 unit measures for agent 1. Agent 2 just joined me this year. They contributed 65,000 to the team. They get 65 unit measures. Agent 3, 20,000 at 20 unit measures, 90 at 90, 12,000 at 12 unit measures. Okay, agent 5 just joined me 3 months ago, right? So it doesn't matter. They don't have to be with you the whole year to do an annual distribution of net profit above the floor. So let me be clear. Profit share. It is an annual distribution of a percentage of net profit above the floor. And yet you've got to close out the books from the previous year. So what I would do is I would do this distribution on or before April 15th of the following year based on the previous year's numbers, and I would give them their unit measures. Okay, so I'd pay them on April 15th. Now here's the thing. Let's say they have a bad week in November. Well, they're not going to quit. They're not going to leave you because they've already got 10 months worth of revenue share under their belt, or profit share built up under their belt. And if they quit, they walk away from this profit share distribution. I hope this makes sense. It helps you retain the agents. By the way, since they've built up 3.5 months under their belt for the next year's distribution, because you're not going to do the distribution until April 15th. So I got 3.5 months under my belt of production. When I get that check from you, I'm probably not going to leave you because I've already got 3.5 months built up toward next year's distribution. Again, I trust this makes sense to you guys. So once I've added up the unit measures, in our example, we've got 376 unit measures in total. Now remember, we have 60,000 to distribute. So then I'm just going to do some simple math. We got 376 unit measures. We got 60,000 to share. So I'm just going to divide 60,000 by 376 to come up with my unit measure value. So in our example here, every unit measure is worth $160. So now all I have to do is some simple math. So D15 times D25, I'm just going to take the unit measures, 65, times the unit measure value of $160. That gives me the bonus. The profit share bonus for employee number one would be $10,372. Employee number two, 5,106, right? Agents, they get their distribution, and we want to double check. So when we add these numbers up, that matches the 60,000 up here that we're going to distribute. So quick explanation, I get it. If you need more detail, just simply set up a free coaching call with me, guys. I'm not here to convert you or pitch you or sell you on anything. Just set up a free coaching call with me and let me just explain it to you. Because when you apply this knowledge to your business strategy, it's going to make all the difference in the world. Now, there's one other compensation model that I want to share with you today. And bear with me as I get to it. Just going to take a moment. Here we go. All right. And Dave, if you could just use the reactions tab, give me a thumbs up if you can see the compensation model pro forma for salary plus commissions model. Okay, got it. Thank you, Dave. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start here with a non-salary traditional team comp plan. Okay. So you can see here, no salary, commission splits for team leads. Generally speaking, it's going to be a 50-50 split. Okay. Some less, some more, usually around 50%. On self-generated leads, let's say you're going to compensate them 70% to the agent, 30% to the team. Perfect. What is your average sales price? In our example, $270,000, average commission per transaction, 2.5%. So the gross commission income per transaction, $6,750. Now, let's talk about the expectations of the agent's production. We're going to assume that total personal transactions per year, that they're going to close one per quarter on that 70% split. Okay. We're also going to assume that they're going to close 2 transactions a month that are team generated leads on a 50-50 split. So that would get them to a total of 28 transactions. Okay. So that's the total gross commission income is 162,000. So total GCI for self-generated. So this is team closings. That's the gross income for the 24 transactions. This is the gross income for the 4 personally generated transactions. So total GCI, 189,000 in 28 deals. Okay. So commission to the agent on team closings, again, 50-50 split, they get 81,000. Commission on self-generated closings, remember they get 70% of those deals. That would be an additional 18,900. That gives total income to the agent of 99,900. They pay their company dollar, and I'm just going to guess it'll be around 8,000. Total net to the agent, $91,900. Not bad. So gross income to the team would be on the team leads was 81,000 plus another 10,000 on self-generated leads. What brings into the team is $91,800. Not bad, right? And assuming that you've paid your company dollar yourself, that is the actual adjusted gross to the team, $91,800. Now, here's what I want to do. I want to talk about a salaried agent, okay, and what that could or maybe should look like for you as a team leader. So here we've got the salary, and let's just say that we're going to guarantee a salary of $30,000 per year. That's $2,500 per month. Of course, you're going to have some other fees on top of that that you get to pay the IRS and the state and Fed and everything else. However, because they're getting a salary, a guaranteed level of income, you can really play with these commission amounts. So rather than paying 50% on team leads, you can get away with paying 15% on team leads because they've got a guaranteed income and a salary. Also, for self-generated leads, rather than paying 70%, you can get away with paying half that, 35% on self-generated leads. Now, these numbers are going to match exactly the same over here. So average sales price, $270,000. Average commission, 2.5%. Gross commission income per transaction would be $6,750, okay, in both examples. Again, we want 4 transactions. Let me make sure that this matches. Oh, sorry, that did something wrong. Hold on. 2 transactions per month. And over here, I got a little mix up, but bottom line is it's the same. In terms of gross commission income, 162, 162. Total self-generated closings, total team-generated closings. So that gives us our total GCI of 189,000 in both examples. Now, how we treat it from below that line. Let's look at this. Commission to the agent on team closings at the 15% would be an additional 24,300 in that year. Commission on self-generated closings, they'd pick up another $9,450 plus their salary of $30,000. This agent would net $63,750. Because they're now an employee, there is no company dollar, and the agent actually nets $63,750. However, take a look at this. Risk reward, right? You as a team leader, if you take a little bit more risk, guarantee a salary, you're gonna, on team leads, you would gross $137,700. On their personally generated deals, you would gross $16,200, assuming you paid your own company dollar already. Your adjusted gross income to the team is $153,900 compared to paying a commission-only model, $91,800. So take a look at the delta. So the delta between the two, if you pay somebody a salary, look at this. You as a team leader would net $62,100 more by taking a little bit more risk from that one agent. Now, imagine with me that you had 20 agents and you're netting that much more from the agent's production because you were willing to take the risk and pay a salary. If you had 20 agents, that's 1.2 million more in net income than if you were to pay them a commission. Follow me? I hope that sinks in. I hope it makes sense. And again, if you guys want to go a little bit deeper into that, all you need to do is just simply set up a one-on-one free coaching call with me. Again, I'm just here to talk with you. I just want to help you. I'm not here to pitch you or close you. No pressure, just clarity. That's it. 30 minutes of your time to find a profound sense of clarity. Now I'm going to go back to sharing my slide deck. Bear with me as I pull that up. It's just going to take me a second to negotiate this stuff here just real quick. And we'll get back into presentation mode. Okay, so by installing profit share, recognizing that the distribution of the percentage of net profit above the floor is in fact based on net operating income rather than gross income, okay, that's critically important. It forces your team members to act like owners versus tenants. I shared this story a couple of weeks ago. 4.5 years ago, my wife and I sold our primary residence and we bought a new home, and the closing dates didn't coincide, unfortunately. So we had to move into an Airbnb for 2 weeks. Beautiful place, right on Lake Travis here in Austin, Texas. Just gorgeous in every detail. Yet the kitchen cabinet, the hinge was broken. It was loose. It was kind of hanging off the hinge. The master bedroom door, the doorknob was loose. It didn't lock. Now, here's the question. I'm a tenant. So do you think I got up early Saturday morning, ran over to Home Depot, bought the new doorknob and new hinge and got my screw gun out and fixed that stuff? Of course not. Of course not. Why? Because I'm a tenant. There's nothing in it for me. Now, if I own that property, though, you can bet your butt, man, I'm going to be down at Home Depot fixing that thing. And that's what this model does. It enables them to act like owners because the distribution is based on net operating income. So they're going to focus on keeping expenses as low as possible and net profit as high as possible. And when you compensate them as if they were an owner, man, they're going to act like an owner. So let's talk about growth and career pathing, okay? I want you to create an ascension ladder. I want you to cast the vision of what it looks like to maybe shift from an ISA on the team to a showing partner, from showing partner to agent, from agent to I've got the career path here for you, but I want a 30, 60, 90 for each position, meaning what do they do the first 30 days? What do they do the next 30 days and the next 30 days? And I want you to have check-in points at that 30-day mark, 60-day mark, and 90-day mark. And provided they're doing what they're supposed to do and they're getting the results that you want to see as the leader, well, then keep them on the team. However, if they're not getting the results, you've got to course correct quickly. So you're slow to hire, yet quick to fire, okay? One bad apple can spoil the whole bushel. We get that. So ground promotions in results, not a time frame. Meaning, if you were to join my team, you would start as an ISA. It's a requirement. And you're going to be an ISA until you get 2 signed listing contracts. So I'm going to ground it in a time frame, you understand. Many other team leaders, they say, okay, you're going to be an ISA for the first 90 days, buckle in, and then we're going to promote you at the end of 90 days. Major mistake. You say, well, why is that a mistake, Sean? Well, because you don't want to promote somebody who is not equipped for the promotion, somebody who doesn't deserve it. And you don't want to throttle back a talented person and have them quit before the promotion is at hand. So tie it to a result. What are you satisfied with? Is it 2 signed listing contracts? Is it 5 signed listing contracts? Whatever it is in the capacity of an ISA, once they hit the benchmark, man, they're eligible for the promotion. Now it's up to the agent whether or not they want to take the promotion. Maybe they love being an ISA, let them stay. Maybe they love being an agent and they don't want to be promoted to a senior agent or a director of sales. That's okay. Let them stay as an agent. It's up to them whether or not they want to take advantage of the ascension ladder. However, having the ascension ladder, it avoids them outgrowing your vision that you have for them. See, that's when they become disenfranchised, is when the vision that they have for their own life, their own career, becomes bigger than the vision you have for them on the team. That's when they leave. All right. Coaching, training, guys, there's a ton of free tools. Just go to iconcoaching.com. I want you to join the inner circle. Please do that. Next, I want you to build a training calendar. I want you to provide value. See, a lot of team leaders, they say, well, I can't get my agents to show up to my sales meetings. Well, why? It's because there's no perception of value. Maybe they attended a team meeting, felt that it was a complete waste of time. They didn't pick up any nuggets they could apply to their business. Nothing actionable, no strategy. I wouldn't want to attend that meeting either. So ask yourself, would I want to attend my own team meeting? And if the answer is, well, no, well, you got to change your curriculum, man. You got to focus on adding value. And it's meat per minute, you guys. Actionable strategies and tactics that the agents can implement and deploy like right now in their business to find additional traction. Next, I want you to poll the agents. What do they need? Do this on a consistent and repetitive basis. It demonstrates your willingness to be flexible as a leader, to say, I don't know everything and I want your guidance. I want your input. What do you need to learn? Okay. Provide training based on the efficiency rating of the team, by the way. So maybe your ISA team, I want you to calculate their efficiency as it relates to lead conversion. And maybe you're sucking wind at a 0.5% conversion and you want to get that up to more closer to a 4% conversion. Well, by understanding the efficiency ratings, it enables you to build a training calendar that would bridge the gaps for the ISAs, the agents on the team. Okay. Yet the training, don't just do training for the sake of doing training. Do training that is relevant, that is mainstream, that the agents can absolutely improve their career's trajectory by installing these new strategies in their business. Let's talk a little bit about leverage and support, because this to me is the number one value proposition. This is why I would join a team. So operational leverage, we'll talk through that. Tech staff done for them, we'll talk through that. Admin relief and sales support for time off. Let's talk about the operational leverage. Obviously, transaction coordination, critically important. Listing coordinators, marketing concierge, CRM management, showing assistance, guys. What you want this may be a different mindset for you as a team lead. Just recognize that your customer has changed. It's no longer the buyers, sellers, investors in the marketplace today. When you truly own a business, your customer is now the staff and the agents associated with your team. And your job is to keep them out of the 80% work, okay? Out of the 80% work. So I'm talking Pareto's principle here, the 80-20 rule. How this applies to your agents and your team is that 20% of your agents' actions are going to yield a minimum of 80% of the results. Sadly, many of the agents, they invest their time in the 80% job description, meaning the things that are not dollar productive, and they tend to avoid the 20% work. So your job is to take the 80% stuff from the agent, okay? Give it to staff members. You want the agent to fully engage and give an inordinate amount of their time to the 20% job description. There's just 5 things on that job description: practice, lead generation, lead follow-up, going on appointments, negotiating contracts. Those 5 things, and those 5 things only. That's the only thing that's going to improve the production of your agents. See, where does setting up and negotiating inspection resolution, where does that fit into a dollar productive? Oh, Sean, it needs to be done in order for the deal to close. I get it. I totally get it. 80% work is critically important. It must be done. Yet your job as a team leader is to make sure your agents are not doing it so that they could reallocate the time they would otherwise have invested in the 80% junk to reallocate the time into the 20% effort to increase the number of appointments, the number of contracts, and the amount of money that every agent is earning. So tech stack done for them. This is a great recruiting tool, right? Building your CRM. Have all the automations baked in. It's already built. It's done for them. You've got the staff to maintain it. All they have to do is provide you with their sphere of influence. You upload that data, you tag it appropriately, and you're going to launch the 36 Touch program on behalf of this agent. Set it, forget it. They don't have to worry about it. Just pick up the pieces and grab the referrals as they come in. Listing templates, email campaigns, text campaigns, AI tools pre-configured, ready to go for them. So with admin relief, obviously paperwork. Most agents I know that are highly productive agents, they suck at paperwork because behaviorally they're either a D or an I dominant. And that whole complexity of paperwork and all that stuff, they can do it. They just can't stand it, right? So compliance handled, marketing handled, scheduling handled. Again, the goal is to position your agents on your team to give most of their time to the 20% job description. So guys, we talked about a lot of things today, and I've taken a little bit more of your time than I expected. Yet what we talked through was how to build a rock solid foundation for your team. And with the right foundation, you guys, you can build your team as big as you want to build it. I mean, look at Mark Spain, over 8,000 transactions last year. Now, there's no difference between you and Mark Spain other than maybe some coaching to get you there. Yet, if you choose to have that in your life, I can help you get there. No doubt about that. How you treat money and opportunity, this ascension ladder, is going to help retain the team members, helping them with their career path, coaching and training them up to strengthen their personal foundation so they can build their business as big as they want to, and providing leverage and support. At the crux of all of this, though, you guys, is compensation. So if you're running a team and you want to refine and plus your compensation models, this is one of the most exciting things that I get to talk about with my clients. I would love to talk with you about this. So all you have to do is just go to iconcoaching.com. You can schedule a free coaching session right then and there. Or heck, if you want to just text me and we can negotiate a time where we can jump on a quick call or a Zoom meeting, whichever you prefer. I'm just going to give you my cell phone number. I'm just going to put it in the chat right now. It's 720-341-4876. That is on its way. I'm also going to put my email address in there just in case you guys wanted to email. And that's fine too. Sean@iconcoaching.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Grab that, drop me a text and say, Sean, I want to meet. That's all you have to do. I'm going to reply back to you. Now, Dave, we also put together the 30, 60, 90 for a sales associate in PDF format. Dave, how do you want them to get access to that? So guys, if you want this, all you have to do is follow Dave's instruction, and we're going to provide you with the sales associate 30, 60, 90-day action plan that you can just hand off to the team members, and we'll help them install it. No doubt about that. Dave, what do you want them to do to get access to the 30, 60, 90? Thank you, Dave. She just posted to the chat. You can download it there. Just go ahead and click the link. Heck, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and click the link and see where it brings me and what I get access to. Oh, this is so good, Dave. Way to go. So this is the 30, 60, 90-day new. I trust you can see my screen, you guys. That's what you see. So go ahead and do that. Feel free to click the Let's Chat, type in your questions there. Schedule a free coaching call with me, guys. You have nothing to lose and yet everything to gain. Here's one thing I'll promise you. There's not going to be any pitch. There's not going to be any hard close. Just 30 minutes of your time. Let's find a profound sense of clarity together. Let me help you. All right, guys, we do this twice a week. So until we do this again next time, it's coming up this Thursday, by the way, just be on purpose, be productive, and be powerful. See y'all soon. Bye-bye.